This year, we will be celebrating 50 years as a foundation, and we couldn't do that without donors. And so I just want to thank you on behalf of the foundation and the foundation board for all that you do individually for our donors. A couple of logistical things. Because there are students in the room, they do have classes this morning, and so students, when it's time for you to need to get to class, please feel free to get up and do that. And when you leave today, if you need a parking pass, we'll have green parking passes for you when you exit the back of the room. So it's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Steve Ender.
Thank you, Don, and good morning, everyone. I always marvel at our students in music, but I'm even more impressed when they can do it at 7:30 in the morning, quite frankly. That would be very difficult, I think. Well, this is, as Don said, an event that we all really look forward to. As I said to a person this morning, it's just so sweet when we can bring our students together with their sponsors and really have an opportunity to celebrate that beautiful connection. Before I get started, and I'll only be a couple minutes this morning, I would like to recognize we have some Board of Trustee members in the room, and I haven't been careful to note who's here. I saw Rick Verberg is here, Dr. Stewart is here. Am I missing anyone? Okay, thank you, gentlemen, for being with us this morning. And then I know we have several foundation board members. I know that Dave Custer is here, who chairs that group. Would all our foundation board members stand and be recognized, please? And then, don't be bashful now. All of those out there that are here this morning because they sponsor one of the students that have a scholarship through your support, would you please stand and let us recognize you? So all these, we know that you're out there. This foundation at GRCC is, I think, one of the most active and prolific as it comes to helping others understand the importance of Grand Rapids Community College, of any community college foundation in the country. The net assets and the ability for the foundation to support scholarships to the tune of about $650,000 a year. And think about that number, $650,000 a year. Realizing that for our students, $500 to $1,000 can make the difference between coming to college or not. And so when you have that level of support, you are assisting hundreds of students through this work as they matriculate through this institution and then move on to the next step in their life. I mean, that is just a significant contribution that is made by all of you. And for our students here this morning, I am sure you've taken the time to say thank you many times to that person that's here today representing your scholarship. And we want you to use that, and we want you to do very, very well at this institution. And we want you to move on in your life, and we want you to get a great job, and we want you to support another student when you are through that journey. That's how this all works, quite frankly. It's the whole notion of, for our present donors, kind of paying forward, and then for our students, remember to pay back when you finish this phase of your life. This institution will be 100 years old next year, a significant accomplishment. If you were to stop and think, well, what would be different in my life without that community college, and we asked that question to 400,000 people in Kent County, I think everybody would have an answer, because in my work across this community, we have a direct relationship to every citizen some way. Either they went here, or their mother went here, or their cousin went here. Someone by blood is somehow connected to this institution. And we think about the contributions that the institution has made through our students to this region, and I am absolutely convinced that we would be a different region, and we would be a less stronger region without the existence of this community college. So we'll ask all of you as we get into the 14-15 academic year to help us celebrate 100 years of education through Grand Rapids Junior College and now Grand Rapids Community College. I believe it's going to be a very historic year for our institution. As the life of the president goes, I had a beautiful day today. Knew exactly what I was doing from 7:30 till about 6 o'clock tonight. That all got blown up on Tuesday when I was called to Lansing to testify for a appropriations committee at about 9:30 this morning. So I am going to have to speak and then leave to get in the car to drive to Lansing. But I want you to know that I value the work of those people in this room today that through their work support these wonderful students in their journey called higher education and their pursuit of a better life. And you are a significant part of making that happen. And all I can say very genuinely is that we are very grateful for that support. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ender. I don't envy Mary or Bryn. They have the task every year of choosing what stories will be told at Creating Connections. And the wonderful thing about a college campus is that we are a student body of individual stories, and every story is incredible. This morning we're going to share 3 stories with you. The first we're going to do via video. This is a video about Officer Robert Kosminski and the Officer Robert Kosminski Memorial Scholarship. This scholarship was established in 2007 when Bobby heroically lost his life in the line of duty. Representing the Kosminski family this morning are Dick and Maria, Bobby's parents, and Kristen Mahoney, his sister. Also at the table this morning is Raymond Erickson, who is the 2013-2014 recipient of the Robert A. Kosminski Memorial Scholarship. So please enjoy the video.
In the academy is when I met Kaz and got to know him, and he was a relatively quiet guy. He had no desire to stand out. He was very humble. But one thing that we all knew in the academy, and after we all graduated, talking with others from the class, we all knew that he was going to be successful.
Bobby, he was quiet. He was always quiet. Ever had pictures of the families, he'd always be behind. But he always had that subtle humor. He always, whenever we'd be talking and kidding around with everybody, and he always say the right line just to make you laugh. He just funny. That's one thing I miss about him, is he could always make me laugh when we were talking about something.
When the tragedy first happened, I know especially for my dad, he kept stressing that he never wanted Bobby to be forgotten. And news stories come and go, and we didn't want him just to be a news story.
We decided as a family to have a golf outing in his name. The money we would raise from that would go to a scholarship in his name.
Not long after he was killed, we knew we wanted to do something to honor him. We had already had planned to have a softball game as an outlet for our current academy students. So we decided to turn that game into something more than that, as a fundraiser.
No better way than to give back to the community than to have a scholarship. Local community college where so many come to, go to school here, receive their education, and help those people out in the community that would like to fulfill their dream of becoming a police officer.
So the process goes at this point about halfway through the academy. We ask the students to write a paper, and just the requirements are just what personality characteristics do they believe it takes to be successful in law enforcement. Once we receive those papers, we narrow it down to anywhere between 3 to 5 papers.
Essays are submitted, and then we read them and decide. They're all deserving, let's put it that way.
When we read those essays, you know, they write a little essay why they're the deserving, and it's, like Maria said, it's hard, and we always will see a quality in there that our son had that won't come through their writing.
It takes a selfless person with a strong sense of team and community to carry out the duties of a police officer.
Kaz's compassion stood out time and time and time again. That it was a comparable trait that Ray carries as well as Kaz had, and thought it was a good choice.
This scholarship for me was more about the pride and the honor of being, you know, the recipient of the Robert Kosminski Memorial Scholarship. You know, Bob Kosminski was a tremendous hero in my opinion, and for my name to be referenced with his legacy, for me, that is beyond awesome in my opinion, and I'm forever grateful for the family, for Bob, and I thank GRCC for allowing me to take part in it.
Well, we're not the only family that has been touched by a tragic circumstance. We all had a hole in our hearts that we thought would never be filled. But doing for others has helped us heal, and supporting the scholarship that is attached to this college where he graduated from is something very special for our family, his daughter, and all of those that attend school here.
In a way, he's like still serving his community, even though he's not here physically with us. He's still helping the people in his community, and I mean, well, what better thing?
That's a great way to say thank you.
Exactly.
A hero never forgotten. Thank you, Kosminski family, for this legacy and heritage that you continue to live on through the students here at GRCC. And we're honored to have this scholarship as part of the foundation here at GRCC, so thank you. Our next story is the Milo Brown Scholarship recipient. I'm going to ask Todd Johnson to come up. And representing the scholarship fund is Michael Johnson. So, Todd.
Thanks, Don. I want to thank all you folks for showing up this morning. You know, us students, I have a 7:45 class, so I'm running a little late. And that is a hard place to be in. I send my condolences out to you guys as well, and thank you for your support. You know, wow. Well, by the way, my name is Todd Johnson, and I'm the recipient of the scholarship of the Milo Brown Award. I thank Mr. Johnson for being here this morning as well. I'd like to share a little bit about where I was. I was a high school student who was challenged. It was challenging for me. You know, I came up in the 60s, and it was a little different. I also became a teenage father, which makes it a little different to try to go to school as well as try to support a family. And in that, I struggled with some other primary things. I struggled with addictions. During that, I tried to change my life by going to the military, which that continued on because of the way I was living. But I kind of skipped through a little bit of that because that's a hard story to follow. But I want to share this part with you. During my time of reflection, I realized I needed to go back to school to achieve my goals of becoming an addictions counselor, because that's a problem that I struggle with. And, you know, people struggle with different addictions in life. It might be food, it might be some other things. But in that, I wanted to impact the community because my struggles, I knew I could help others. I met a counselor by the name of Dr., or I shouldn't say, I call him Dr., Andre Fields, and he guided me and gave me some counseling and some direction in my life. In that, though, I wanted to go into substance abuse, but the only curriculum was criminal justice. And in that, I figured that just not getting the certificate was going to be enough, that I needed a degree. And in that, I want to read the rest of what I had written. Due to my criminal justice classes and requirements of an internship, which I did at Community Rebuilders, I went on to volunteer and now have a paid position there as a consumer engagement specialist. This position was created for me to encourage and to support the consumers in the areas of finding equitable resources available for them. I also attend a church called City Life, where it allows me to reach the community in many areas of ministry. I volunteer in the building facilities, hospitality, parking, prayer team, and also a group called Celebrate Recovery, which is another group that deals with helping people with addictions. Also, I volunteer at one of the men's missions, Guiding Light Missions. In the fall of 2012, I joined the group, which I support now, and as I'm wearing the jacket, is the GRCC Alpha Beta Omega World Leadership Program, a group of young men of diversified culture or diversity cultures who work hard to achieve higher education and succeed with the purpose of encouraging others to reach for higher heights, as Dr. Ender would say. This program has made a huge impact in my life and success here at GRCC. This program focuses on legacies of the African American men. We discuss the dreams of those who have made a sacrifice to invest in young men's lives like myself. This is the hope that education brings. As I look back today on life for where I was, I had to come a long way. I have come a long way. I see images of those who have sacrificed before me so I can have education. That is why I stand before you here at GRCC with the hope for all men, including young African American men, on a journey of education. I am inspired by the images of people of past like Dr. Martin Luther King, Mr. Milo Brown, and others. There is one special person who really impacted my life to further my goals in education, my father, Thomas E. Gordon, Sr. I mention this man for the example he has displayed in my life. He encouraged me to be persistent about achieving what I want out of life. You must make an investment in your life, in your own life, in order to get something out of it. I won't just be handed, I don't want it just to be handed to me. You have to work hard for it. I want to thank the donors here who have provided me the opportunity to further my education with a scholarship, and to those who intend to become donors or invest in students like me, I want to thank you, I really do. To achieve the achievements that are of value and of quality must be earned with some planning, thinking, and also some hard work. Involvement and investment are like a set of old keys used to open or to unlock doors in a new era for a brighter future. And I want to thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Todd. I had the opportunity to meet Todd this week, and his genuine appreciation for ABO and for the Milo Brown Scholarship is just evident. He got kind of fast-tracked through the foundation offices pretty quickly because he came in to see Mary regarding his scholarship. Then we quickly introduced him to Aaron Sisler, our Director of Alumni Relations, who he'll interact with next. And then they introduced him to me, the fundraising guy. So he knows the path of where his relationship will continue. So thank you very much, Todd, for your comments this morning. And get to class when you need to. So, okay. Someone here can write you a note if that's necessary, all right? That's right. All right, our next presenter this morning will be Jodi Kaiser. Jodi is the recipient of the Keith Longberg Trust Scholarship. And unfortunately, Keith Longberg was not able to be with us this morning. But Jodi, thank you for your willingness to share your story.
Hi, I'm Jodi. I'm so far outside of my comfort zone right now. I just want to thank everybody. Mr. Longberg has been so good to me throughout the last couple years. I've been fortunate enough to receive his scholarship. He found out I wanted to be a dietitian, and he would email me things on books and information that he would find out and try to, he thought it was an exciting career for me to go after. I basically have been a single mom for about 8 years and was working third shift. Pretty decent job. I was making $12 an hour, but it wasn't enough to pay the bills, so I started coming here to CC. I wanted to find a way to make ends meet a little better. On average, I was up probably 24 to 30 hours a couple times a week, and one day I fell asleep and hit someone running a red light. So anyway, I decided to just concentrate on school, and if it weren't for the Longberg Scholarship, I really don't know if I would have been able to finish, or at least not as quickly, because just every little bit of money helps. And you guys are great the way you give, because it's a good thing. And it's something that I'm glad my children are watching me do. And hopefully they will go to school before they're 45 like I did. So anyways, yeah, I just want to say thank you. It makes a world of difference. And I wish Mr. Longberg was here, because I'm standing here shaking for him. And so thank you.
Thank you very much, Jodi, and you're done. So now you can, if you'd like to get breakfast now, you're welcome to get breakfast. Like I said, what a great morning, and you know, just 3 stories of hundreds of stories that we could spend the next couple of days sharing with you. So thank you for being here. It's now my pleasure to welcome and introduce Dave Custer. He's the chair of the foundation board, and I think for this morning, as equally important, also a grad of Grand Rapids Junior College. So, Dave.
Thanks, Don. I am a grad of junior college and proud to be a Raider. But I'm even prouder to be here. This morning is such a great morning, and I look forward to it every year. Thank you to the Kosminski family, and thank you, Raymond and Todd and Jodi, for sharing your stories. They're heartfelt and they're heartwarming, so we appreciate it. And that's what the foundation's about. We raise millions of dollars. As Steve said, we're probably the largest community college foundation, maybe in the country. And we've had some campaigns where we've raised probably $30 or $40 million just to upgrade the facilities. The facilities are pretty much the same as when I went here 40-some years ago. And that's sad when you look at high school facilities and what kids are coming out of, and then they come down here, and our facilities don't even match up. So that's important. But the most important function of the foundation is to raise scholarships. And I think you heard some great stories today about that importance. Steve mentioned that we're going to be celebrating our 100th year anniversary. We're going to have a big gala. We're going to have a big fundraising effort. And all of that money will go toward scholarships. None of it will go toward the dinner itself that we raise. None of it will go toward buildings. It'll all go for scholarships, because hopefully you see the importance of scholarships. That's the main reason for the foundation, and that's what we're here for. So donors, we thank you. Without sounding melodramatic, I hope you take pride that maybe you'll make a change in somebody's life and make a huge impact, and that ought to make you feel good. makes me feel good. I sat next to our scholarship recipient, Ashley, and it was so fun getting to know her and talking to her. And as Steve Ender said, students, as you become more successful and later on in life, maybe you can establish a scholarship and continue this momentum. So thanks again for coming. We appreciate all that you do, and have a good rest of the day.